Well, I'm waiting for, I think I'm waiting for Keith too, right? You good? Okay, welcome everyone. The date is the 24th of June, and we are now calling to order a regular board meeting at 6 p.m. and we are at our admin building, the normal boardroom. Samantha, will you call the roll, please?
President Flores, Vice President Spray,
Here.
Secretary Trujillo, Board Member King,
Here.
Board Member Concha.
Here. Thank you, Sam. All right. Who would like to lead the Pledge of Allegiance? Keith, would you, please?
To the republic. Liberty.
Thank you, Member King. All right. Land acknowledgement statement. Dr. Layton, would you read that for us, please?
It is respectful to recognize the unique and enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous people and their traditional territories. We acknowledge that we are on the historic homeland of the Red Willow people within the original territory of Taos Pueblo. This acknowledgement will oblige as a reminder of our ongoing efforts to respectfully recognize, honor, reconcile, and partner with the Red Willow people whose land and water we benefit from this great valley today.
Thank you. All right, number 5 is the approval of the meeting agenda. Does anyone have any changes that they'd like to make? No? Keith? You good with the agenda? Member Concha, do you have anything that you'd like to change?
No.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
Thank you, Samantha.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. All right. Item 6 is public comment. We might have one today that just walked in the door. Is there anyone online that wishes to do public comment? No? Mr. Hall, are you planning to do public comment? No, you're not. Okay, then we're going to skip reading the whole thing. Thank you for coming anyway, Mr. Hall. All right, number 7, consent agenda. I had a couple of questions, but they're not the kind of questions that would change a vote. So they're mostly clarification questions for the public. So as we go, I don't want to pull them out and stuff like that. It's going to take too long. So I guess what I'm going to do is Alipio here. No, Fred's here. Fred, are you going to do the heads up landscaping? Are you here for that? Okay, I just had a question. It said in the contract that it was renewable automatically at plus 3% per year. How long does that contract go that it's going to be a renewable, automatic renewal? That's my only question.
So right now, we are in our 3rd year of the 3 years that we had done the RFP. So we gave them up to 3 years renewal. So this coming year, 26, 27 will be the final year that we'd have to go to RFP after this.
Okay, that's perfect. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you, Fred. Then on 7.5, what does CKLA stand for? The acronym? That's a 10-day coaching proposal.
CKLA is our literacy program for the district.
That's the acronym for it, CKLA? Okay, thank you. I just didn't recognize it. All right, those were my questions. So I could entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda or not, either from Member King or Member Concha.
You can make the motion, Vice President Spray.
You want me to? I
Yeah.
normally want you guys to, because I think I don't want to apply pressure as the person leading the meeting. All right, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written. Item 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the general topics are 7.1, disposal of obsolete district equipment. 7.2 is renewal for Heads Up Landscaping, doing business as Yellowstone Landscaping. 7.3 is strike security web filtering. 7.4 is professional services agreement with Document Solutions. That's a procurement proposal. 7.5 is Amplify CKLA, which is the literacy program. 7.6 is Taos Internet Service Proposal. 7.7 is approval of Sharp Business Systems. 7.8, NMSBA Policy Service Advisory. 7.9 is proposal for Nicole Cohen, do you say? Cohen, for professional services. All right, so we have,
Are we going to get a recommendation from superintendent?
I have that next on my little thing to do. Yeah,
Okay.
it's right there. Dr. Layton, what do you recommend?
Recommend approval of consent agenda 7.1 through 7.9 as presented tonight.
Thank you. So I made a motion. Did you do a second yet?
I'll second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Sam, would you call the roll, please?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. Okay, moving right along. I like this. Number 8, Superintendent Report, Dr. Antonio Layton Jr., you're up.
Vice President Spray, members of the board, today for Superintendent's Report, I have 4 items. First, I'd like to update the board through Foundational Goal 5, Systems, Operations, and Policies and Procedures regarding the PSCOC Public School Capital Outlay Council update. They met on June 11th. I believe it was a Thursday, June 11th. They met to review the different requests that we made for state matching funds. And the result was that PSCOC approved phase 1 of the state matching funds, which is planning and assessment. And so what you see here in front of you are 2 numbers, 165,925 and 91,575. Those 2 numbers reflect the 67% share of the district and 91 and the 33% of the state matching funds. So they approved the planning and assessment phase, and that was introduced to the Bond Implementation and Oversight Committee, which I'll go in the next slide. But I did want to just update the board as well as the community that we did get approved by, bless you, by the PCLC for the planning and assessment share for the phase 1. Next year, we will be, our pretty good guess is that we'll be asked to go back to request in front of PSCOC for phase 2. And my guess is it'll be what's the progress on phase 1 for the planning and assessment of the general obligation bond.
Thank you. That's great news.
Next slide was, as it kind of flows right into it, same foundational goal. The Bond Implementation and Oversight Committee did meet on that same day, actually that afternoon. And on the agenda, we will be posting on our TM district diligence site, so that way the public does know what we will be meeting about and supplemental documentation. But we did meet on it was Thursday, June 11th, 3:30. We updated the committee on the PSCOC's approval of phase 1 and the 37% of the state share. The committee had several good discussion, and it is available for streaming online. But it was good discussion regarding the prioritizations, given that what we advertised to the public regarding the GEO bond, and the committee itself prioritized first the intercom and fire panel upgrades to all the campuses as part of the initial part of safety for our students and campuses. And especially since the summer, then students are not in the campuses, they're able to begin that. So our maintenance supervisor, Mr. Mondragon, has already begun the process of looking at RFPs for these particular, which once we get them, we'll get it back to the BIOC, the committee, and to select an RFP through that appropriate process of procurement, and then bring it to the board for review and possible approval. Our next meeting will be Monday, July 13th. So on the day that the district reopens, we're right back at work that afternoon at 3:30 to discuss the progress of that particular RFP process and any updates that we have to share with the committee perhaps selecting our next priority as presented. Member King?
Superintendent, I thought that was Wednesday at 4:30. Yeah,
We'll
4:30.
double check. We'll
Yeah.
double check.
Monday, that's a tough day for everybody, including yourself. I
yeah,
think we said the 15th because the 16th is our leadership conference.
We did, you're
Samantha-
right, that is what we said.
Yeah,
Okay.
Samantha, yeah, so 4:30, and that's fine, just make a note.
So I think, just to go back on there, Member King, we discussed Wednesday, the 15th, but that is the legislative here in Taos at the Sagebrush. That's why we moved it to Monday,
Oh, okay.
because that's the first day of our leadership retreat, if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
it's the sixth,
The first day is
16th to the 18th.
Thursday. the
We sure?
16th.
it's a
Yeah.
Thursday.
We'll double check.
Well, that's when the welcome is.
Oh, well, there's an update. I'll update the board on this particular piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
If not, yeah, we can look,
Send it out to the committee.
maybe Tuesday, yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for that. So next one is Foundational Goal 1, Student Achievement. Just an update on the Air Force JROTC proposal or possibility. We met Monday on June the 8th with the Air Force JROTC official, Tammy R. Perry. I'm not sure what the acronym, excuse me, I'm not sure what the acronyms are, but essentially it's the Unit for Viability Program Support Division at the school sites. Present, we had the cabinet, our principal, some staff and students to be able to go over with the official on what it would look like should they approve an ROTC program at the high school. We presented student interests. We also did a site walkthrough, and we asked for next steps. So essentially, they're going to their division now and their oversight to see if they will approve the Air Force JROTC program at the high school. Now, just because they approve it, there's next steps, which would then be to bring curriculum for board review and possible approval. We are already in the process of sending letters to the community for support for this JROTC program, but what you do see here is the agenda that was brought that day, so we could all discuss the potential for having an ROTC program there at the high school. We did review possible location sites, and I think we were able to find a particular one that would best suit the district as well as the ROTC requirements. So if all this goes through, I do expect the potential for either our next board meeting at the 22nd or the first one in August for a review of curriculum. But that'll be a potential. We won't know until we receive word back from the Air Force JROTC Unit Division. And lastly, Foundational Goal 1, Student Achievement, School Zoning and Bus Routes Update. Yesterday, we did some home visits along some of that pattern that you see there in the slide in front of you. And so what we did was we distributed letters in English and Spanish, spoke to our parents and some of our students, and we just let them know that there was a possibility, not that has a decision's been made at all, of routing a particular bus route to Arroyos for the 26-27 school year along these route lines. And that's to, of course, to assist student enrollment at the campus. We did get some initial parent feedback. Some welcome the potential change. Some would prefer to take their child to Enos. But we will be continuing the house visit. We weren't able to get to all of them. So we'll continue the house visit and get some feedback. But all that to say is that what we want to do is just the possibility if we have to reroute some of these students to Arroyo so that we can bring back a proposal to the board for discussion and possible approval or review. And at the same token, bring back some zoning maps if we're able to locate some so that we know exactly what the routes are. At that point, the board would be able to look at the routes and make that decision of what routes or zonings that we have for our schools. So there's a picture, one of the parents, they were appreciative of the fact that we were going out to ask them for their feedback. Some in English, some in Spanish, but nonetheless, that's what we did yesterday.
I have, Member King, do you have any questions?
Superintendent, we talked about possibly, I was curious about, since Dixon is closing their elementary school, I don't know about, is it Marcos or as the Director of Transportation, what is the guidelines of maybe at the county line? You know, I think if we could reach out and recruit have access, to house.
We're still checking on that possibility. This one was more specific to address the enrollment at Arroyos, but yes, we're checking on those potentials. We do have to check with our attorneys to make sure what zoning areas. Interesting enough, Member King, and I'm glad you brought that up. We're looking for those school zones specific to our district. And so we're hoping to locate those maps so that we can specify where are the zoning areas.
I think if you haven't been to Dixon, you've got to put it on your map. It's famous for, I think it's garlic, right? I think Vice President Spray, yeah, it's a farming community and,
A lot of artists.
yeah, I think it would lend itself well to Taos County.
Member Concha, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Okay. I have a question because the map that we have is kind of illegible in our packet.
So
Is that, and were many people home in the daytime?
some were, some were not. And that's,
I bet you left your
yes, for the
flyers.
dark.
So what are all those blue lines indicating? Because I can't read
The
it.
blue
on-
lines are the specific route. And just so that,
Just one bus route?
yes, ma'am.
They would go, that one bus would do all
One,
those
that's the route that they currently go.
currently?
This is the current route. But this is the area that we were looking at specifically to perhaps have a separate bus route or have the route that is in this particular area in lieu of the students going to Enos, they would be going to Evelyn. But all that to say is, I did send this particular picture much clearer to the board in an email. So if you want to look at it a little bit
Okay,
clearer
great.
and
I'll
more
do that.
legible, it is there.
Thank you. I'll do that. Thank you, Dr. Layton. Does any board member have any questions of Dr. Layton on his report?
No.
I think it's progressive, to let the Enos students, if they want to go to Royals, and we're just trying to increase the class sizes. Is that correct?
And we're trying to help increase the enrollment at Arroyos. Yes, sir. But again, this is just informational only. No decisions are made until we bring that proposal to the board.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Layton.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Number 9, Director of Finance Report, Dr. Renier Martins. If you would do me a favor is to speak as slowly as you can, because especially if people are online, it's hard to, if they aren't seeing you talk, it's sometimes hard because you have such a wonderful German accent. Thank you. So 9.1 is financial reports April 2026 and May 2026. And Dr. Martins, take it away.
There you go.
Can you blow that up a little bit? May you blow that up that the board can read that a little bit easier? And that is the disbursement display. May you show the consolidated board report, please?
What page would that be, Director?
How many attachments do you have? Yeah, you have it? Yes, this one. Perfect. So, and if you scroll a little bit further down to the end of Fund 11,000, please. Yes. Okay, here the important number is the 5.394 million in balance. Do you see that on the summary line from 11,000?
Is there a page number so that we can see from our booklet? Page 125?
I'm sorry, I'm not finding it. Are you finding it, Keith? Thank you. No, thanks. I would have never found that. Thank you, Samantha.
Perfect. So here, I said the relevant number is 5.394 million in balance. This is what I currently assume we will carry over in cash into next fiscal year. And that would be a little bit shy of 2 months of SEG. So that means we are in a solid position. This is very relevant because Moody, an example, requested our draft financials to get our credit rating updated. That is all very relevant for the EdTech node, but that's fiscal year 25. So currently I have honestly no concerns. I expect from a cash point of view, which is not displayed here in these reports because it's revenues, from a cash point of view, we are in a solid position. We are requesting currently $2 million back from PED, which we already spent on the multi-gym or the wrestling. But as said, cash on hand is solid. The revenue expenditure situation is solid currently. So we're finishing off a fiscal year for the future next year in a solid way, specifically after the school board approved the new budget for fiscal year 27, that the cash position stays a lot more stable. So yeah, do you have any questions?
I don't. Member King, do you?
No.
Member,
So,
I'm sorry.
yeah, just reiterating, operations, I said Dr. Martin's, that's 5.4 million.
Almost, yes. So that's the projection. We have still June to run, but yeah, just a second before
Yeah, there it is.
You
sorry, I
okay?
apologize. But in this figure already, the rather expensive June payroll is included because it's encumbered, and the encumbered is already subtracted. So that's the reason why I say the later it gets in the year, the more solid is the balance, which is then basically a fund rollover balance, aka cash.
Okay, great. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Member Concha?
No questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martins.
Did I improve my speed and my accent is, I'm sorry, no, but was it better today? Could you understand me better today?
Yeah, yes, I could, but
Good.
not when you just asked this time, yes, but I did. Do you want to do the May finance report also, and then we'll vote on them together, or do you want us, do we typically vote separately?
We can look at the same report again. Again, I would like to go on the consolidated report.
Okay,
And Vice President Fay, just
yes.
because it is one action item, you can vote on this one action for both reports. It doesn't require separate. because-
Right, I just wanted to know what he was most comfortable with. So you're going to do May right now, right?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
look at
thank you.
exactly the same number again.
Thank you.
So exactly, we looked at May's. Yep. Was April. Yeah, but here you can see again the balance. Do you see that the balance is rather solid?
Mhm.
Again, the 5.394.
Yes,
So basically, I can repeat what I just said.
yes, gotcha.
Any questions for May?
Member King, do you have any questions?
No.
Member Concha?
No.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martins. It's nice work. Thank you so much. Would someone want to make a motion on this? On 9.1 and 9.1? April 26 finance report and May 26 finance report.
Sure, I'll make a motion to accept the financial report for April 2026 and May 2026 by Dr. Rainer Martins.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Sam?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. Thank you all. Good job. Okay. Now, 9.2 is budget adjustment requests, commonly known as bars, and I guess you're coming back up. Dr. Renier Martins. Oh,
Yes,
shoot,
these
I
are
didn't
all
mean to
the-
ask you. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, these are all the bars now. We are April, May, so we are at the end of the budget year. So these bars were necessary, and as you can see, primarily flow-through funds to put us in a position to finish off the RFRs. So we have closed out already most flow-through funds with RFRs. We have the rest of the week and Monday, Tuesday to finish off because when the payroll has to now run, that means the flow-through funds have the final numbers for actual expenditures. And PED allows us to submit RFRs until 7th of July, I believe. These movements are necessary. Following, even if we have overall the money, if it's not accurately budgeted in these flow-through funds, then it looks like that in a certain function we do not have enough money, even though we do have enough money when we do these bars, that everything is matching and that PED can approve all our money what we should get back. So I would appreciate if the board could approve all of that, please.
Okay. I had one question, and that was in the log where it says CTE pilot. I believe that's Career Technical Education Pilot. I wondered what that meant, the specifics of that.
You want to address that? 27502 CTE pilot, Career Technical Education.
Vice President Sprague, I could be incorrect, but I believe that the CT pilot is, this year we did have a CT pilot, meaning not initial program, but for the pilot component where they were building the airplanes. And so this was the RFR. So the pilot,
Pilot is not a program, it's a actual pilot.
well,
Pilot
the
program.
pilot doesn't mean it's the first try at it. The pilot means the airplane.
Pilot program.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I
Because it's
believe it is,
listed
but I could be
couple-
mistaken. So
Vice
Okay.
President Spray,
Yeah.
Superintendent Lee, and I
Thank
would
you.
have to go back and double check on this one. I know that there were some funds that we were piloting some new CTE programs for the high school, but Superintendent Lee is correct that we did have a pilot program that was part of building planes, but I would need to seek clarification on that for you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Dr. Layton, we might at some point want to have a presentation of the CTA programs at the high school that we're going to do for this coming year.
probably in either July or August, yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Especially with the Air Force GRTC becoming part of that.
Mhm. Yeah, it'd be good to do them all, so we update us. Member Concha, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions, but thanks for the clarification. I too thought it was like initial first kickoff for pilot program.
Right, great. Well, great minds think alike or something like that. Member King, do you have anything to say?
No.
No, nothing, no questions? Okay, so 9.2, we're to approve the bars, the budgeted adjustment requests. June 2026 came first and May 6, 2026 came second. Does anyone want to make a motion for that?
We need recommendations.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you, God. You should start cattle prodding me. I'm so sorry, I'll get it. I'll get it. I'm not used to it, but I'll get it.
So Vice President
Why don't you
Sprague,
give two approvals now for 9.1, retrospect to 9.2?
Vice President Sprague, members of the board, I recommend approval of the budget adjustment request for bars as presented by Dr. Rainier Martins, Director of Finance, and for clarification, if there's any differences on the CTE pilot, I'll go ahead and send that to the board as well.
Great, thank you, I appreciate it. And again, my apologies, I don't mean to do that, I'm just not used to it yet. All right, thank you so much for this evening. We'll see you around.
Thank you.
Bye, good job.
I believe I made a recommendation. Now there's a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was flustered from having ignored
You can
you
make
by
the
accident.
motion. Why don't you go ahead and.
I'll make the motion
ding
too.
yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping me in line, guys. I'll make the motion to approve the budget adjustment request by Dr. Rainier Martins for I'm going to say June 2026 and May 6, 2026.
A second?
Okay, motion and a second. Samantha?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, Dr. Layton. I really am embarrassed and sorry. I'll try to get that in my patterning. Okay, 10.2, or 10.1, I'm sorry. Discussion, consideration, and possible approval of resolution number blank, determining the necessity for entering into a lease purchase agreement and note to acquire educational technology equipment and establishing a date for a meeting to consider a resolution granting final approval of the lease purchase of educational technology equipment in an aggregate amount not to exceed $5,500,000. And that will be presented by Nick Kane from Stifel Public Finance. Stiefel Public Finance.
Stiefel, yes. Thank you, Vice President Spray, Superintendent Layton, and members of the board. I'm Nick from Stiefel Public Finance, and we serve as a district's municipal bond advisor. I'm here tonight to follow up on the presentation that Dr. Martins and the charter school leaders gave last month, outlining their request for an educational technology note. Tonight would be the first action item for the school board to approve the sale or issuance of that education technology note. I did put together a presentation with some information for the public and the board just on the assessed valuations. That's the pledge that's being reused to pay back the general obligation bonds. None of that has changed in the past couple of weeks since we've gone through the GO bond sale. So in the interest of time, I'll skip over some of that unless you have specific questions. But again, the GO bonds and the ed tech note both use the property tax values here in the district as their repayment pledge. Both affect the overall tax rate for the community. The main difference is that the education technology note does not go in front of the voters for approval. That's done through the board, and that is why there is that long agenda item for you all to approve the initial sale. And then there are a couple different nuanced legal procedures. Catherine McKinney from Model Sperling is behind me, and she's the district's bond counsel if you do have any follow-up questions regarding the legal process. But with the board's approval tonight, tomorrow morning, Dr. Martins and I would move forward with issuing out a proposal to hopefully local banks to see who's interested in purchasing the education technology note. Banks give the district a lot of flexibility in how those proceeds are divvied up among the charter schools and make it so each of the schools is responsible for their own portion of the funds rather than having it all go through Dr. Martins in creating some unnecessary redundancies in that process. So the banks are our recommendation to help give the charter schools and the district that flexibility and make sure everybody gets their money as quickly as possible. And then with the approval tonight, if that does happen, the board has to meet no earlier than 3 weeks, no later than 4 weeks from today for the final approval to approve the pricing and finalize the sale of that education technology note. Your board meets again, I think it's July 22nd, which falls perfectly on that 4-week window. So we would plan to come back in 4 weeks for the final approval of the education technology note, lock in the interest rate. And then 1 week before the meeting and 2 weeks before the meeting, there would be a public notice put in the newspaper to make sure that everybody is aware that the board is considering this action, again, because it's not going in front of the voters. We give ample opportunity for everybody to know what's going on, that this is being considered before you all finalize it in a couple weeks.
Sounds very orderly.
Hopefully so. Pause there to see if you have any questions for myself or Catherine.
Ms. Concha, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, but you did mention, I guess I do. You mentioned distribution amongst the charters. Do we have specifics on which charters?
We do, and I'll defer to Dr. Martins on the exact charter schools and the project lists, but it would be split amongst all of the schools. And then one other thing to point out, the amount in the resolution is not to exceed $5.5 million. Dr. Martins did present a project list that is $5.4 million. We rounded up to the $5.5 million because of the cost of issuance that's associated with it and making sure all the schools have the appropriate project funds to get things done. Once we get proposals back from the banks and figure out what the actual cost to issue the education technology note is, we can help refine that and hopefully get it closer back to that $5.4 million amount that Dr. Martins presented last month.
Okay, thank you.
Following
you.
the board received from the charter schools and myself complete project proposals in the Excel that was submitted. And if you recall, so Maria and I presented for Taos Municipal Schools, but every single charter school in our school district boundaries, so the local and the state charters presented with me here in front of you every single project. So all charter schools from the Taos Municipal Schools district boundaries, state and local, are involved and were very supportive, if you recall. Did that address your question, Board Member Concha?
Yes, Dr. Martins, I apologize. We get so much information and updates and presentations. So from one point to the next, and there's been a lot of conversation surrounding the charter schools and inclusion of that. So I just wanted to get a quick clarification. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I said, was she not here? I said, did you miss the last meeting, Board Member Concha?
I've missed several.
Yeah, they all came, they were here. I remember because Dr. Barton said initially they were a little prickly, and then they settled down, and President Mark and I both commented that we appreciate the simpatico, the more mellow attitude from the charters, and they were all here, every one of the directors, so it was nice.
Awesome. Thank you, Board Member King, for the update. I must have been absent during that meeting.
Yeah, no, they were definitely here last month. Yeah.
Just, do you have someone else who'd like to speak? Yes.
I was just going to add, hi, I'm Catherine McKinney. I'm with the Module Sperling firm. We serve as your bond counsel.
Yep.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Vice President Spray, members of the board, Superintendent Layton. The charter schools are actually under the statute. They're required to participate, or it's mandated that they participate. And the proceeds are prorated based on enrollment, the first reporting day. So that's how it gets apportioned, the proceeds among all the district and all the charter schools.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank
Yeah,
you for
we appreciate that
clarifying
clarification.
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you. All right. Member King, do you have any questions?
No,
No?
I think
And
Nick
Naomi asked
covered
hers.
it.
Okay, are you done? Anything else?
Yes, ma'am. Nothing else to add tonight. If you guys approve it, we'll see you next month to follow up from there.
Sounds very orderly, as I said. Okay, Dr. Layton, do you have something you'd like to say at this moment?
Before I make the recommendation, I sure do, and this is just more information for Member Concha in case you did want to go back to the information. It was at the Wednesday, May 27th board meeting and we do have the information online, just as an FYI, ma'am, in case you needed a little bit more reference. It's there for you.
Thank you. Yes, if I do recall, I was not present for that.
Okay, so the recommendation, Vice President Spray, members of the board, recommend approval of the resolution number, of course, to be determined the necessity for entering to the lease purchase arrangement and note to acquire EdTech equipment and establishing date for a meeting to consider resolution granting final approval of the lease purchase of educational technology equipment in an aggregate amount not to exceed 5.4 million, 5.5 million, as rounded up and presented by Nick Kane from Stifel Public Finance, Mondragal as well, and Dr. Martins, Director of Finance.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Dr. Layton.
So I made the recommendation. I think it has to be a motion.
I'll make a motion to,
Okay, that's what so moved means. Go ahead. Naomi, do you want to do it?
sure, I'll make a motion to approve 10.1, the discussion, consideration, and approval of resolution number to be determined, the necessity for entering into a lease purchase agreement and note to acquire educational technology equipment and establishing a date for a meeting to consider a resolution granting final approval of the lease purchase of educational technology equipment in an aggregate amount not to exceed 5.5 million as presented by Nick Kane, Stifel Public Finance, and his colleagues.
Second. Samantha?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. Thank you all. And thank you. Happy trails. 10.2, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of math curriculum adoption. Ms. Renetta Mondragon, Associate Superintendent.
Vice President Spray, Superintendent Layton, Mr. Enrique Gonzalez, our interventionist for the math program, is going to be presenting tonight for the math adoption.
Oh, I was wondering who he was, what he was doing. Nice to see you.
Very
Thank
nice
you
to
for
see
being
you.
here.
And thank you so very much, Ms. Vice President Spray, Board Member King, Dr. Layton, and members. Thank you very much for being here this evening. And just as Ms. Renetta had mentioned, I was in charge this year of our math textbook adoption. This is an adoption committee an adoption that comes up every 6 years. So we were looking at new instructional materials for the next 6 years. The way that it works is, first and foremost, we have to create this adoption process, which involves creating a team. And so what I did was I reached out to all of our administration staff within the elementary schools as well as secondary. I did get representation from each of our school sites, Arroyos del Norte, Enos Garcia Elementary, Ranchos. Then I also had a secondary contact that was helping kind of lead the discussions and kind of facilitate the discussions between the middle school and high school chairs. Once I got all those members, we met together, we discussed kind of some of the goals, and what we wanted to do was have not only school site representation, but just to also let the representatives know that we wanted to also include community members. This meant that throughout the year, we were doing what we could to involve community members, let parents know, especially at the high school, even students know that they could take part in this review process. So that was something that was really awesome to see, to get full stakeholder kind of involvement in, and that really kind of helped us out with our recommendation. What we also did was we had district-approved rubrics that we used, okay? Now, and Samantha, if you can go on the slide, we'll talk a little bit about some of the different things that we see on here. First and foremost, as we take a look about math is a core subject, and we know that it's absolutely important. We do see that the scores listed that's out there, we feel as teachers, we know we're trying our best, but we do see that when the kids are taking their assessments, sometimes those scores don't reflect that. This year, what we wanted to do is really take a look at these instructional materials and ensure that they have high quality instructional materials to ensure that they're aligning with our district goals, but why it's so important. As we see, it is a graduation requirement. We need to ensure that students are prepared for their ACT test, prepared for math and real world application, financial literacy. These were all components of some of these programs that we were looking at as we were thinking about these programs to take a look at. And as you can see down there, the number of years a science or math subject is taken is associated with also career interest. So we definitely want to ensure that kids are excited about it and also see the importance of understanding math. We know that a lot of times students can do good in front of us, but when they get out to do math on their own, when they take assessments, we see that they're not. So what we like to use the term here, especially as educators, is mastery. We want our students to not just be exposed to this, but we want them to master it. It's like go a mile deep and an inch long rather than a mile long and an inch deep. We truly want them to understand the concept. So this was something that we did that helped guided us as we took a look at forming the creation of our group and then also the goals that we had with that, okay? If you want to continue on. Now, the next thing is you see on there with our adoption goals, high quality instructional materials is certainly listed on there. What are those high quality instructional materials? Research shows that access to high quality instructional materials is one way to increase student learning. It is content rich, it is fully accessible, culturally and linguistically relevant, free from bias, and most importantly, aligned to our New Mexico content standards. We also want to ensure that this provides a variety of relevant assessments to support and guide teachers with the professional tools that they need to evaluate student comprehension. So when we think about that, we think about standard-based, structured literacy. Vocabulary is a big piece that we're really taking a look at, and that's one of the things that we're wanting to ensure is that as we come up with a program to use this year, what also standardized kind of vocabulary do we want our students to learn? Because when they take those tests, we need to use correct academic language for our students so that way they understand what they're being assessed on and not just simply just using words in the classroom to kind of substitute for them. So when we think about those structured literacy, things that are helping students truly understand these concepts, okay? We also see up in their community involvement, and this is when I talked about representation from all of our stakeholders. Again, ensuring that it's not only from our school sites, but what I also did this year was I reached out also to the Taos Pueblo to get participation. I reached out to the University of New Mexico math department. I had the math chair who came in here, one of the teachers who actually teaches elementary math and middle school math for our teachers. So they were very involved, and it was a great perspective to have them take a look at the materials that we were using to see how it'll also help them, as we know that they're all going to be kind of taking a look at, higher education, hopefully in their futures. So it was really awesome to get a very broad kind of, group of representation through our community members. We also had students and again, children actually who took part in this as well. And then when we think about scaffolds and supports, we also want to ensure that whatever programs we come up with provides the intervention that they need. When we take a look at students who are doing the work and doing the assessments, a lot of the programs that we took a look at have digital assessments that are included with them. With those assessments, it's able to help us target and identify specific standards that the students need to achieve. So that's going to be something that helped us kind of also guide that. So as we think about scaffolds and supports, all of these were included in. Now, when we also talk about the materials that we took a look at, and you can go on, Samantha, the materials that we were able to get were all given to us by what's called the Instructional Materials Bureau from the Public Education Department. They had a group of educators who got together, who basically vetted and went through all of these materials already. And that was a list they created. All the different programs that actually were scored 90 and above or 90% above, meaning that they met high quality instructional materials. And I'll go into it in just a little bit here with some of the other components that are involved with that. But when we also want to see this, what we call instructional coherence, when we don't see teachers using standards aligned materials, and that could mean like getting online and going to Teachers Pay Teachers or sometimes printing out. These are materials that can be useful, but it should not take place of actual instruction, grade level instruction for all of our students. When we think about this, this leads to inequitable instruction for students. Reviewers of these resources rate most of these as not being worth using. And as you can see there, Teachers Pay Teachers, Read, Write, and Think. These are just resources, again, that can help maybe with some practice, but not going to replicate what we want to have teachers teaching in the classroom, okay? Okay, thank you, Samantha. So when you take a look at this and when you see up here HQIM, that's when I refer to high quality instructional materials. Content rich, what we want to ensure is that they are standards aligned, grade level content, readily accessible and easy to use. We want to ensure that these are highly engaging and designed to meet the needs of our students across cultures and abilities. Fully accessible, excuse me, print and online access. We know that students need to get on. We know that we need them to practice, but the extra fluency practice that they have comes along with that digital access. Language supports for our ELL students and ensuring that these are compatible with our learning platforms, which all of our vendors have ensured that they are. When we talk about culturally relevant, free of bias, we want to see students being able to see themselves in the textbooks so that they can make a connection to this. When they do that, a lot of times there's a vested interest and they see that. They're like, hey, this kind of relates to me. When they're thinking about math and how it can pertain to them, especially if they see some of the materials that were kind of brought into us, but even here at home, that's something that the kids can kind of get into. And when kids are engaged that way, there's a lot more receptiveness to the kids to learning. We also want to see, have materials that are authentically and positively reflecting the diversity of languages that are spoken and the elements of culture, such as customs, belief, traditions, and norms. And that's when we talk about these. Standards aligned, we do have something now that is called the New Mexico Instructional Scope, and that is like our Common Core standards that we have. These priority standards have been identified through the Public Education Department and should be the things that drive our instruction in the classroom. The tests, when our students take those tests, are based off of those standards. And that's, again, when we talk about that instructional incoherence, if they're not using the standards to guide their instruction and they're using other things, they may practice the concept, but they're not giving the kids the practice that they need to. So what we want to do is ensure that all the materials that we're using and the vendors that we choose to get align and their materials align with those priority standards that we do have. And then clear purpose, structure, and pacing. A lot of times what teachers would love to know is, how are we going to be able to get through this school year and teach them everything that they need to know? Some teachers may go through the textbook page to page. However, that may not make sure that the kids are ready. This year, we were actually working with a group of teachers who could actually create a pacing guide, if you will, a scope and sequence, so that we could see what are the priority standards? What are the main things that we need to teach our kids? How can we teach them? And you know what? We might have to kind of bounce around our book a little bit, and that's okay. Point is, we're going to prepare our kids adequately and make sure that they're prepared for the test that they need to. There's also something called the supporting standards. So we have our priority standards that are the main one, supporting standards that we expose them to, that we teach them to it, because maybe next year and the following years, that's where they're going to be picking it up from that teacher. So again, all of these materials that we're looking at have to include all of these high quality instruction materials that meet the criteria. And so the materials that we did use were already vetted through the Public Education Department and already included all this with that, okay? So the proposed adoption, as you can see up here for the elementary, we do have a program that was chosen upon for our Arroyos del Norte, Enos Garcia, and Ranchos Elementary, and that program was called Accelerated Learning STEM Scopes Math. Last year, we had actually just done a science adoption review, and we actually went with STEM Scopes Science. This year, we are going to go with STEM Scopes Math, and the reason we chose to do that is because Bless you. As all of our friends were reviewing, we had rubrics at each and every grade level. We got a lot of good scores that came back. And as we pulled them together, STEM Scopes was definitely at the top. But at the end of the year, we had a professional development where we were using and comparing materials with a trainer from New Mexico CES. So they were part of this training that we were involved in. They work with a group called AAIS Math. And what they're doing is they're providing ongoing training here for us in the district. We're going into classrooms, we're doing presentations, they're providing support. And within this training, our trainer felt that accelerated learning really aligned and really met the needs of our district. The standards aligned were right there, very clear to see. We did see that there was rigor. We did see that it was fully engaging to our students. It provided plenty of opportunities for our students who needed support to have that intervention as necessary. So we recommended STEM Scopes Math, Accelerate Learning for our elementary group. And then for the next one, after we finished and completed all of our rubrics and all of our reviews with the middle school and the high school, those particular teachers with Greg Rael, who was our secondary kind of rep that I had there with him, they chose Amplify Desmos Math. This was a program that they felt that was going to best assist our students. It's going to have a component of financial literacy in there, but it's also going to, that's the program that they felt that was going to best assist our students as we move forward for the middle school and high school. It will include just your regular kind of pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, and then on up as it goes into that grade level as well. Okay. And so thank you so very much. This process was done with the collaboration of many different stakeholders within the community. Again, representation from each school site. This is something that I felt very strongly against and with. I had the representatives, basically, I was in touch with them each and every day, each and every week to just really talk to them what they can do to help us out. STEM Scopes really came a long way to help us out and really wants to ensure that the students of our district are supported. And they came down significantly even within their first cost proposal to now. So I feel very confident that they're going to prepare our students as we go forward. It also aligns with a lot of the training that we still have ongoing with AAIS. So what's awesome is that we see those models that we're learning within those trainings with CES in the books. And so that I feel like is when you kind of get everything together, the teachers really start to see that understanding and how everything kind of connects. And that's what we feel is going to be the best bet for our elementary students, building that strong foundation so that our kids can kind of continue to go on up with that. And I do stand for any questions if you guys have.
Ms. Concha, do you have any questions for your name again?
Enrique Gonzalez.
Enrique. Do you have any questions for Mr. Gonzalez?
I do not. That was a great spread of information as far as presented data and the comparison and adopting the math since we're already utilizing the science component. I think with this, like what we're seeing as far as increase in our scoring and student outcomes in those areas, I mean, I think, you know, leave it to the experts and let's just keep moving forward. And so it was a lot to digest, but it was very understandable, well explained. And it looks like the process was well thought out. I say that because I sat on a couple adoption committees back in the day. And one was for Taos Middle School. And, you know, they talk about the components and even the CLR and everything like that. And in the committee that I sat on, it didn't seem like that was being applied in the curriculum that was chosen to be adopted. For me, it just felt like it wasn't, it was kind of like a forced fit type situation. So I think just hearing everything that's relevant and being backed up by the data and everything like that, it for me, it makes a little bit more sense than seeking elsewhere or going outside of what you already know and what you've already worked with. So
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Board Member Concha. And one other thing too, and I know that one of the main reasons we also kind of chose this was the rigor that it provided. That was always a word that I remember my former principal talking to me about, is the rigor and how do we ensure that our kids are getting it? How do you know? When are you asking them? And what we saw was that there was a lot of opportunities for that, a lot of creating a math community in the classroom And some of the trainings that we did in here involved that, where we actually get students up out of their chairs. We actually get them on what we call vertical surfaces, doing some work and some project work to kind of get them going, right? But we also are creating a community of learners. And when we can do this and even randomize our groups within there, we're teaching our kids that they can work with anybody in there. Instead of, already having your kind of pre-made groups, this way students get to work with one another. Maybe those quiet, shy ones who we know typically don't say stuff will be standing there and they'll be listening and they'll be, a little bit more inclined to kind of engage themselves. And so what we're doing is, especially as we partner with AEIS, we're trying to find many different engaging ways to do activities that'll help our students to really start talking and showing us their math and they're thinking about it, right? Because a lot of times maybe they just want to show the math concept, or maybe they could just show you, the equation, but what is your thinking process in there? And that's something that's awesome to be able to do. And as a teacher, being able to walk around the classroom and to listen to that conversation, it is super rich. And we want to definitely make sure that our kids are involved in this kind of discourse and a dialogue in the classroom to ensure that they can, have conversations with their friends, respectfully disagree sometimes, like, I don't see you got it this way, but this is what I see. And all of a sudden, now you're engaging in conversation with math. Now you're using math vocabulary. Now it's understanding. And now you've related to it. Now you understand it a little bit more. And again, that's the depth of understanding we're looking for. And we feel like STEMscope certainly provides opportunities for that for us, especially with our younger kids.
Member King, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I
Question?
appreciate it, your enthusiasm, Mr. Gonzalez. And I'm just curious, is this something new for us?
I'm sorry?
Is this something new that we're assessing, that we're bringing this on, or we're fine tuning?
Every 6 years, the adoption, you mean? Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is every 6 years, we are in for a new adoption. The program that we had initially was iReady, and that's the program that we're using. What I felt as I went around the district was we need opportunities for our students to practice. And that's one of the things that we were looking at, especially as we got the new curriculum and the programs this year. Because you're trying to teach the whole class, right? Sometimes you want to do it in small group, especially with the primary grades, because that's how you're going to ensure you know it. Some might get it, some might not. How are you going to be able to meet the needs of all of those kids within there? And so within that, looking at these programs, that's what we're looking at within this new 6-year adoption. This is a program that we feel is going to be able to lay a strong foundation as we move forward, aligned to the district goals. And yeah, just something different. If it was working, we would have kept what we had, but obviously our scores are still showing us something a little different. So what can we do differently? What can these new programs offer for us? PD can our teachers get so that we can make some meaningful and impactful,
Vice
differences in our
President
kids?
Spray,
Yes.
sorry about
Yes.
that. If I can add something to that, Superintendent Layton. Board Member King, one of the issues that we have had as a district when 6 years ago when we did adopt our math program, our middle school didn't adopt an actual math program because we were using a different online version, but that online version went away and we had to drop it. So we were looking for a program that we could implement, and our middle school did find something, but this was the opportunity to really take a look at what would be a high quality instructional materials for that school site. And then at our elementary level 6 years ago, what was asked was that across the board, everybody be able to choose their own program. What we saw was that it was difficult to align all of the school sites. So this year we were looking at, let's align all of our math programs so that when we look at professional development, we're all on the same page. And when our students are transferring from one school site to another, they have the same program in place.
It's very
As
good.
well as standardized language, because again, teaching the kids in kindergarten are very important things. Myself and Dr. Reiner, who was here earlier, we were in classrooms this year, and just to talk to the kids about numbers, digits, what is a digit? And so to really understand how far down we need to go, identify those key academic terms and languages so that way our teachers know what to help our students with, because we know that that's going to help them be successful as we go on. So we're really looking deep into seeing how we can be successful with our kids.
Yeah, this is very encouraging. It's your passion, Mr. Gonzalez, and Associate Superintendent Mondragon, the clarification. And, it's anything, let's get better,
Absolutely.
Community is, I say they're expecting that from us. And I'm glad to hear this. This is very encouraging. I have a daughter, and iReady, was iReady more online?
So it is a program that is used for like the testing. And so
Yeah.
it is basically kinder through 12th grade all the way up.
Right. So there's nothing like conversation, talking, like you said. I know for myself, and my primary education, you had to show how you got that answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's important that the kids can track, and there's, you know, that's just a different process, but this is great.
Absolutely. And take it from that abstract concept to the concrete. And that's what we see with our little friends. And, you know, using Dr. Reiner and I, we were in there using Legos with the kids to really have them really kind of feel that, to know what that is with those manipulatives, to build a 10, then to know what that's like to, as we kind of, you know, add on to that and scaffold onto that. But again, it starts off from the elementary grade levels. Again, being able to be in those small groups, being able to kind of really ensure that you're teaching the kids the foundational skills that they need to know. And I feel like these programs that we're seeing are giving awesome opportunities. Plus, we also have a rep who just signed on, who's actually right here in Angel Fire. She's really close, which is awesome. So if we need support, she's close by and willing to help out and support us as we need, especially even also with the Amplify, same thing. We have amazing representatives who are here to support us, offer professional development to our teachers, especially before school goes, and then to really get our kiddos, you know, ready to go and get them excited about math. And I feel like the other piece of that, and that's why we involved UNM, was to get our teachers excited about it too. Because when you start talking about things like fractions and other, you know, concepts that maybe some teachers are hesitant about, you know, we also want to support them and help them out, feel confident that they can help teach that to our students, because that's a big piece, you know, especially when you talk about math in the classrooms. There's certain things that some teachers are comfortable with and some that, you know, there's a little kind of where they're afraid themselves. And I feel like that kind of leads into the kids. And so again, if we can continue to support our teachers, help them kind of feel a little stronger, I think that'll be a great benefit.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear that there's someone close by that they
Mhm.
can call on, someone like yourself, you know, because not everyone is 100%.
Absolutely.
And, that's great.
Yeah, so that we have a lot of people scheduled to come on in, still continuing this upcoming year with AEIS. We'll be in classrooms, we'll be doing demonstrations again, we'll be doing some more training. So looking forward to another awesome year and continuing the work we've been doing.
Well, we wish you guys the best of luck, and
Certainly
Thank you,
appreciate it,
Member
Dr.
King.
King.
I had a quick question for you, and then I had one for Ms. Mondragon.
Sure.
What is your position in the district? You may have said it, but
Elementary math intervention.
thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. You might have said it and I missed it.
No problem.
And then, Ms. Mondragon, every 6 years, this is a repetitive thing. Is there some way that if we don't like something, we can change before 6 years, or are we just mandated to only do it every 6 years? And because you're pretty much in charge of curriculum, correct?
Vice President Spray, Superintendent Layton, yes, we could change it if in that 6 year. However, we're on a rotation for each of our programs. So next year we'll have another adoption for, I want to say it might be CTE that we're looking at. So we won't have as much funds available. So when
I
we
see.
are looking at changing, we have to keep that in mind of what our funds are
Perfect.
looking
Yeah,
like.
great. I understand. Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate your answer. Okay, this is my new way to remember. I'm sticking my orange marker up and straight up and down, so I remember to say, Dr. Layton, do you have a recommendation?
Vice President Spray, members of the board, I recommend approval of the math curriculum adoption as presented by Enrique Gonzalez, elementary math specialist.
Thank you very much, Dr. Layton.
Intervention, excuse me.
Thank you. We all,
By tonight, I looks like a specialist. but-
well, and this is a very serious subject for this district. All right, would anyone like to make the motion? Would you like to?
yeah, I'll make a motion to item 10, approval of the math curriculum adoption from Associate Superintendent Renata Mondragon and Enrique Gonzalez, the elementary math interventionist for Taos Municipal Schools.
Second,
Samantha, we have a motion from Member King and a second from Member Concha. Would you call the roll, please?
Board Member Concha,
yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. Good job. You didn't waste any time, that's for sure. He speaks quickly. And Samantha, don't forget to make sure I always have one of these to remind me. Thank you. All right, so next, we're going to roll into executive session. I'm going to read what that's going to be about. It's going to be 11.1 is pursuant to NMSA 1978-10-15-1, H4 and 7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act to meet with legal counsel to discuss pending litigation, specifically a special education due process complaint styled Student versus Taos Municipal Schools, DPH 2526. The number is not yet assigned by the New Mexico Department Department of Public Education and the Office of Special Education, including a possible settlement. 11.2 pursuant to NMSA 1978-1015-1 H4 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act for the superintendent to update the board regarding state complaints, which are C 2526-95 and C 2526-110. 11.3 pursuant to Section 1015-1 H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act to discuss limited personnel matters specifically so that the superintendent can update the board regarding employee movements and contemplated movements. And lastly, 11.4 pursuant to Section 1015-1 H2 of New Mexico Open Meetings Act to discuss limited personnel matters specifically for the board and superintendent to discuss the end of year evaluation of the superintendent. Would one of you like to make a motion to go into executive session? If not, I will. So moved.
Second?
Samantha?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. Right now it's 7:11. Why don't we say we'll meet in there in 5 minutes? Give everybody 5 minutes to do what they need to do.
Miss Samantha, do I need to jump off of this one to enter executive?
Yes. And then we'll send you the link for that one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if you got to choose from C or D.
Board Member Concha, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
give me 1 second here and I'm gonna,
These will be in Naomi's and the other people. They'll get these.
Yes. Yeah, everyone else will get a copy of them. And if they want to look at them, they're already attached to our diligent.
Oh, good. Okay, gotcha.
I'm good to record.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting at the dais back to order. It is 9:33 PM on the 24th of June. We just exited executive session. Actually, we need to make a motion to exit it. So would someone kindly do that?
Make a motion to exit executive session.
Second.
Samantha?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. Thank you all. Okay, as a recap, 11.1 in executive session dealt with pending litigation. 11.2 dealt with state complaints. 11.3, and I've already read this in specific before we went into executive. 11.3 was regarding employee movements and contemplated movements, and 11.4 was discussing the end of the year evaluation with the superintendent. On 11.1 through 11.3, we discussed only the matters that were in the announced categories, and we took no action or made no decisions on any of those 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3. 11.4, we discussed the first two categories of the superintendent's evaluation, but the three of us decided to continue categories 3 through 7 to the July 22nd meeting so that all 5 board members hopefully can give their feedback to the superintendent. All right, number 12.1.
Do you want to say we tabled it? As if we're continuing?
I guess we should. I guess
Phrase
we
is probably
should.
better,
Yeah. All right, so we tabled it to discuss categories 3.7 of the superintendent's end of the year evaluation to July 22nd. May I have that's the motion, and I'm making the motion. Can I have a second, please?
Second?
Samantha, sorry to bother you again.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes, thank you, Member Keith, for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
Number 12, other new business, discussion and possible action to authorize legal counsel and superintendent or designee to proceed with legal strategy, including possible settlement as discussed in executive session in the matter styled student versus Taos Municipal Schools, DPH 2526, number not yet assigned by the New Mexico Department of Public Education and the Office of Special Education. What? Oh, I'm sorry. There's one. No, because it didn't say that on there yet. Dr. Layton, because I wasn't expecting to do that then. Thank you. I need my orange. You need to order me some more of these, Sam. Dr. Layton, what's your recommendation on 12.1, please?
Vice President Spray, members of the board, I recommend authorization for legal counsel and superintendent or designee to proceed with legal strategy, including possible settlement as discussed in executive session in the matter styled student versus Taos Municipal Schools, DPH 2526, number not yet assigned by New Mexico Public Education, Department of Public Education and Office of the Special Ed.
Okay. Can I have a motion on that, please? Or do you want me to do it? Okay. I make a motion to authorize the legal counsel and superintendent or designee to proceed with legal strategy, including possible settlement as discussed in executive session in the matter styled student versus Taos Municipal Schools, DPH 2526.
Second?
Samantha?
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. Thank you, Samantha. Okay. Number 13, future topics.
Vice President Spray, I do have a future topic if I may. We were not able to meet in June with CES to finalize the strategic plan. After receiving some feedback, the best available date, the nearest available date, would be Tuesday, 7/21, July 21st, which is, I believe, right, the Tuesday before the board meeting, the 22nd. I would recommend to the board if we can make those arrangements so we can finalize the strategic plan component. Now that we receive feedback both from the board, the community, and district administration and district staff. The consensus seems to be to start around 4:30, but of course, it's open to whatever time best fits the board. I've noticed that 4:30 has been something that all of the board has at one point or another recommended, but I'm going only by what y'all say.
It seems like not everyone's here, so I would say let's be here by 5 and start at 5. I think that's fair. Everyone can make it. Is that true, Board Member Concha?
Sure.
Can you do the 21st of July?
I don't have my calendar in front of me, but as of right now, I would say yes.
Okay, and Member King, you can?
Yeah, I'll make a point. Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Layton, I'd like you to ask Secretary Trujillo and President Flores also before you set that date in stone, please, but the three of us seem to be able to do it. All right, is that the only thing that you had?
That's the only thing I had, Ben.
Do you have any recommendation? Just kidding. All right, so
And we,
Member Concha, do you have any future topics?
I do not.
Okay, Member King, do you?
yeah, we're just to remind Superintendent, we'll be continuing on the housing for teachers. I'll be working on that while you're gone in your absence of just getting some metrics and moving forward. I had a former school board member who was part of when the land was given to the district, give me his account. And we just, I think it's imperative to continue to keep that front and center so we can get the planning stage. We've got monies from the bond just to, let's keep it rolling for sure.
Okay, I wanted to maybe add to announcements to have it say announcements and or future topics, because sometimes we just have announcements to make that aren't really future topics, but it's our chance to make an announcement rather than putting it in another place on the agenda. That's a suggestion I'm going to make to President Mark, just so you all know. And I also, there's a couple other agenda items I'm going to talk about with President Mark, but I don't need to bring them up now. And then I wanted to bring up again that I think that the board should consider planning a open community meeting like we had at the middle school in the cafeteria when school starts around the beginning of the school year. Not the immediate beginning, but soon into the school year, so that we don't forget. President Mark had mentioned he thought we should have 4 a year, and I think the community would really like that. And then that's all I have for tonight for that.
I want to thank you, Vice President Spray, for your chairing the meeting, and thank you for bringing the historical art collection as well. And
You're welcome. I love
get-
that collection.
Get some artwork and
On that topic, tomorrow or the 27th is the opening of the Adobe. The Harwood's doing a thing on Adobe building and all sorts of stuff, and that's on the 27th. And the director of the Harwood had said that she would be willing to work on moving the artwork and stuff right after that opening. So we're coming up soon to that being able to happen.
You know the time of the opening?
4 o'clock.
Thank you.
And everybody's welcome and it's free to everyone. All right. No one else has anything further to say? Any further needs? We're good? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Samantha, are you okay with leaving? Thank you all. Appreciate it. I had a good time tonight.